If you haven't been here before, you might not know, but I am a very big fan of Wishlist Member. I use it on my site. It's how I serve my customers. It's how I protect my information and my courses. And I love the way that it integrates with a number of different plugins and different services. It's an integration engine for my site. Well, there's one more thing now that they've added. It is Wishlist Member Courses Addons. This is an additional purchase, but I think it's a really cool little item. I want to show you what it's like, and we're going to take a look at Wishlist Member Courses Addons right now. Hey, if you don't know me, my name is William Beam with Suburbia Press. I am a small business person, just like you are. And as I said, Wishlist Member is a big part of my business. Now they have come up with an add-on for courses. So let's go take a look at their page announcing this, and then I will show you behind the scenes what I was able to build. So you'll see what it looks like from the customer's point of view and what it looks like for you to build this out. It's very fast. It's very easy to use. I think you're really going to like it. Okay, we're on the Wishlist Member Courses site, and you can see up at the top here, it says there's a $150 discount for the first 250 customers, and we'll take a look at the details below. I'm an affiliate, and I offer a bonus. If you buy using my affiliate link, not only will you get this deal if you're one of the first 250 customers, but I have a course on how to use Wishlist Member. And if you send me your receipt, I check with Wishlist Member and your purchase came on my affiliate account, I will give you that course for free. I typically sell it for $97. So if you already have Wishlist Member and you want the course, if you end up buying the add-ons, then that also qualifies, and I'll be putting that into the course as well too. So let's take a look. And what they're doing is they're adding courses as an add-on. So this is an additional cost, but there is a bit of a bundle. So we go down here and there's a couple of offers. If you already own Wishlist Member, you can buy the add-on, and the launch special is $149 a year, and the annual discount for the first 250 customers only. So you can see the regular price is going to be $249 a year. You get courses, you get badges for gamification, you get points. So in other words, when people accomplish something inside of their course, they can earn points. And then there's kind of like a leaderboard, both a total of all time and a monthly leaderboard. And then, of course, you can cancel anytime. If you are a brand new customer and you haven't bought Wishlist Member before, you can bundle these things and save money that way. So you get everything that they're talking about. So you'll get Wishlist Member and Wishlist Member Courses Add-ons. So that's the offer that they have right now. Let me show you what it looks like. All right, we're on my demo site, and this is something that I was able to mock up in just about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, whatever you want to think. But this is something that I could put up this little heading. I could put up the banner in the background. I put on the card for the course itself. And these photos can be whatever is pertinent to your course. There is a section over here to either start or continue. If you've already started like I have, you can go back and start at the beginning. And there is a little course progress thing here. So as you complete different modules and different lessons, you'll see the percentage is done. So what I've done here is quite simply just typed in some placeholder stuff. So I've got a few different modules, and then I have lessons inside. So you can see that there are 2 lessons that I've checked off and another lesson I haven't done yet in module 1. You can go click on a lesson to go to it, or you can just go to a module itself by clicking that. There is a little thing up here for level. Now you can determine what these levels are. I put in like beginner, intermediate, advanced, and boss mode for mine, but you can edit these and just make them whatever they need to be. This is going to count over here as far as the lessons, as far as how many you have. And this little author box down here is totally configurable. You can display it if you want to, or you can not display it. And then you can have different author levels for, let's say different courses have different authors who put them together. So you've got some flexibility with that. On the front end, I think it looks really very good. Now this section over here is kind of which course we're looking at or which tags we want to put onto it. So it kind of gives you a little bit of information about who this course or module is for. You can go back to your course and then just kind of maneuver around and just take your lessons and go through everything this way. It is very simple, very easy to put together. And this is the interface. I haven't put a video in here, but this is the interface on a lesson that a student would see. So this is the card for your course. You can see your progress within this module, and then you can see the lessons down here. Now, at the bottom, you can go back and forth between modules. You can go to the previous lesson or the next lesson. If you've got a video here, this will display in the URL, or you can also embed, and you can put any other text that you need to. You can also have attachments and resources that show up in here. So, and when you're done, you can mark this as complete, and you see that you've just moved your progress bar. So let me show you what it looks like on the back end. All right, we're inside of Wishlist Member. When you add Wishlist Member Courses Addons, it is a separate plugin with a separate license, and that brings you options to add these courses, badges, and points. In the future, they're also going to have quizzes. It's not ready yet. They're going to go ahead and launch this. Quizzes will come at some point in the future. So you can come over here to Setup, and that's how you get these things to show. If you see over here under Setup, you now have another menu item called Add-ons. So we'll click on that, and then you can kind of turn on or turn off whatever you want to do with these, and you have settings that you can go to for each one. So let's start off with courses. When you go there, you see we're on courses down here. You can create a new course by clicking the plus button and then just putting in a title. I already have a demo one over here, so let's go ahead and edit that course. There's a little bit of, I don't know if this is CSS or something, they just need to fix because it's kind of cutting off the first letter of the name over here. And I've got a beta version, so hopefully this will be fixed by the time you get your license, but I just wanted to point that out very quickly. So what you can do is you can come over here to click to add a module. And then once you're inside of a module, you can open this up and then you can add a lesson. When you want to go and add a lesson, so this pencil over here is to change the name. And then in true Wishlist Member fashion, you can see these different menu items over here. So you can see your lesson info. You can open the lesson, you can view it, trash it, or reorder it. So we'll start with lesson info. And this is where you can determine your URL for a video. So you can just put a URL in if that's what you have. Or if you need to embed, you can change this. And then they've got a box here to put your embed code. This little box over here is an overview, basically a description of what this lesson is going to be. Down here where it says lesson duration, it doesn't read the video just yet. So I think that's something they're going to work on and perhaps update in a future release. But you can put in how long is the lesson. So is it hours, minutes, and seconds? And you can put that in. A couple of other options. This one for allow comments. Do you want your students to comment on a lesson? This is something I haven't seen in LearnDash where I'm using it. Maybe it's there, I just haven't used it. But I like the fact that there's an opportunity for your students to give you some comments or feedback. Enable preview. If this is enabled, users can access a preview of the lesson content. And all protected lesson content will be open and available to anyone if the preview is on. Now, this is something that you might do for marketing. In other words, nothing sells like the product itself. There's a saying in the car dealer industry, the feel of the wheel seals the deal. And what that means is they want to get someone into the car. They want to touch it and let them feel it. And that helps make what they're trying to sell them real. So if you have a lesson that you want to give away as an introduction and an enticement to buy the rest of the course, there's your option right here to enable the preview. Now, if we go ahead and go inside of the lesson, you can saw where we could put the video in and some comments, but you can go further. And this is like the WordPress block editor. So you can go ahead and choose a block. You can type whatever you want to. This information over here is actually from my theme. I'm using the Cadence theme on this site, and this is information that is not from Wishlist Member. It's from the Cadence theme. But down below, you can see that you have your traditional things for unprotected, protected, or inherited. In my case, you can see inherited status is unprotected, so I'd want to change this to protected. That shows a tag. Who is this for? Which course is it? And I put the word course in my tags for courses, so it says course members only. By the way, members only is the name of the course I have to teach you Wishlist Member that I'm offering as a bonus. And then I can just go ahead and apply settings. All of the things that you're used to with Wishlist Member still apply. So if you want to turn on the scheduler and drip things out, you can do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and update this, then we'll go back. Okay, so we're back at the course builder, and I mentioned you can use this plus button to add new courses. If you come down here, the next option you're going to find are settings, and these are the settings for your courses. So there's 4 options up here. You can enable or disable the link that I had to go back to courses from within inside of your course, you can choose what page is going to show all of your courses. So basically, if you have multiple courses, you might see cards for each different course over there. And you want to show a course library header. And basically, it's displayed on the course page, so it shows you what's in the library. The library is going to be basically your list of courses that you have available. And you can put a description over here. It's like, these are my courses. And you can also put a course library header image. So this is basically your course page that people go to, and then they can choose which course they want. You can go to the layout, and you'll notice that you can disable the theme header for certain things, and you can disable the theme footer. So you may want to disable, for example, your header or some things in order to provide a very simple or clear user environment. If the fewer things that are displaying that might be distractions to your students, the better. And so I've disabled almost everything over here. You can come over to styling, and you see that they have different palettes by default. So you can choose what kind of color palette you want to use. And if you notice over here, it says select your color palette below. Optionally, a color palette can be cloned and modified to use custom colors. So if you have brand colors that you want to use, there's an option there for that. Translations basically lets you change some of these default things. So the author box says about the author. You might want to say something else. Who am I? And testimonials, it could be what people are saying about this course. Resources would be your downloads and supplements to the course. So you could change that to whatever you want to. And of course, you can change course progress to be something else if needed. So that's what translations mean. Let's take a look down here with badges. So badges essentially have rules, and we're going to go back to the setup to look at how the badges are. But what you're doing with this section for badges and with points are creating rules. So when a condition happens, you determine what's going to happen. So you can select a trigger. And if you take a look, there are triggers for Wishlist Member, for Wishlist Member Addons. So if someone completes a course, a module, a lesson, or they have points earned, those are triggers. But notice you also have WordPress. And because I have LearnDash installed, you have triggers for that as well too. So you may even find other things where you can trigger some points. Probably would not have LearnDash and the add-ons on the same site, but it's interesting to note that, yeah, you can put it in there and then also award badges or points for people using LearnDash courses. So if you're already running a site with LearnDash on it, you can integrate this, and maybe you'll decide that you want to build new courses on the course add-ons, or maybe you have a reason for doing a combination of the two. So that's really all that does. So when that happens, you can add a badge or remove a badge. And by default, they have a lot of badges in here, and you can choose some of these. I believe you can also add some of your own badges. So you've got quite a long list of badges that you can award. So I'm not going to go into points. Basically, it does the same thing as badges. The difference is you come up with a number value for the points based upon something that happened. All right, so I'm back inside of the course builder. You can see over here. And we didn't look at these items over here. So let's go ahead and take a look. We showed you how to add a module, and inside of a module, how to add a lesson. But let's take a look at access. So you can determine that it's protected very quickly and easily right here. And this is using what you're familiar with. If you've used Wishlist Member before, you can have it unprotected or protected. So you can offer a free course or something that maybe somebody has to pay for, or at the very least register to get access to. The access depends upon membership levels. So I have a tag here for a membership level called Course, members only. And if I want to enable a preview, that's the thing that lets people, access it for free. So that's something that you can do. Underneath that, we have system pages. If you're familiar with Wishlist Member, and I know I keep saying that, these are messages that will be given off to people who try to access the course and perhaps get an error. So if someone is not a member and they try to access it, you'll see the traditional Wishlist Member type of error message. So you can put in a message that tells them something. You can give them a default message that you give all errors to in Wishlist Member. You can send them to a page. So maybe you want to give them a specific page that has a message if they go there. Or if the message that you want to give them is offsite, or the address you want to send them to is offsite, you can send them to a URL. I think this is very handy if you have perhaps registration and a blog on one page, and then you have your courses in a private domain or a subdomain on another page. So sometimes that comes in handy. So between page, that's what's within the WordPress site that you're on, and URL can be any other website. So you can put up your message there. And within messages, you've got this text editor. And there are also merge codes. I wouldn't use a merge code for non-members because you're not going to know their first name. But if you have someone who is logged in that's registered on your site, but maybe they don't have access to this course, you could come over here and give them a message and say, hi, and then first name. So you've got these different merge codes where if people are logged into your system and you've got information on them, these merge codes can give them different things. So you can say your membership level is this, but however, you're trying to access something with a different membership level. You've got options there if you just want to give a message. So I think that's very handy. And also, you can do the same thing if the membership was canceled, if their membership is expired. If you require a manual approval, there's a message for that. So yes, we know that you want to access this. We have to approve it. You're good. And this one requires confirmation, just means that your membership level access hasn't been confirmed yet. So that might be something as simple as clicking a link in an email to confirm that you are the person who requested this. But that's kind of the difference about what you see here. And this is configurable, remember, for each course. Everything you see here, this is all about this course that I have called Demo. So your course details, you can choose to allow comments. The category can be whatever categories you need. I just put Demo. The difficulty, as I mentioned earlier, I said beginner, intermediate, advanced, and boss level. And underneath, this is where you can manage that. So we come to this page, and you can put in different difficulty levels. So whatever you want it to be. I chose these because they just came to mind, but that was a very quick and easy way for me to decide when someone's trying to determine if this course is right for them, they can choose something that is appropriate for their level in the subject matter. Now, if you have an excerpt that you want to put in here, so I said this course demonstrates the abilities of WLM for Wishlist Member Courses. You have a featured image, which is the small card that you see. And then, of course, you have the cover image, which is kind of like the banner that goes across. Resources are, as I mentioned, these are things you can display or not display, and we can add a resource. So basically, you give it a file name, and then you select a file. You can use this to choose something to upload. And it could be in your media library, or maybe you can upload something, but it's going to be pulling it out of your media library. And then you can put an icon for the file or an image for the file. And that way people can download things, and it'll put a little block next to your progress, kind of like as a sidebar widget inside of the course. So if you need to add a PDF, if you need to add a media file or something of that nature, or an image, this is where you would do it, is under resources. Testimonials are helpful to sell the course. So in other words, if you can add a testimonial, you can put up a person's profile picture, their name, their title, and then whatever they had to say that is about your course. Testimonials are a sign of social proof for people who are considering to buy your course. So if you have users who are happy and satisfied with your course, you may want to add some testimonials. And the author box I mentioned, this is something that you can do for every course, or you can turn it off if you want to. You can put up the name, a little biographical information, a profile image, and then you can put in links for a couple of social media things. So for LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And that's something you can do for every course. So that is a quick overview of what Wishlist Member Course Add-ons looks like from the user or student perspective, and also what you need to do as a course creator. Now, the time it takes you to create the course materials depends upon what you're doing. But the time it took me to create that framework that you saw, this took me minutes to come up with this framework. It was as easy as adding modules, adding lessons, and putting up some pictures, and then adding some text as far as what the course was going to be. I also put in the membership level that the course would go into, and that's it. It was very quick and easy to build this framework. All you have to do then is put in your videos or other content inside of it, and you're ready to sell a course. And of course, Wishlist Member integrates with several payment providers, so you can easily build your sales pages integrate with a payment provider, and you can be up and running selling courses rather quickly. And if you're doing this on a membership site, then you don't have to worry about trying to sell it off. All this stuff will be protected content inside of your membership site. So I think this is a great little system over here. It has a lot of potential. So now that I've gone through all that, there are a couple things that I'm looking forward to. One is that it doesn't have quizzes, but as we saw from their description, quizzes are coming soon. I don't have a date for that. I don't know when, but that is something that they've committed to doing, is adding quizzes. The other thing that I'm hoping that Wishlist Member will do is take that system of triggers of events that they're using for their gamification with badges and points, and also allow you to do that with email. And the reason I say that is I would like to email my students when they've achieved a milestone. So if I'm going to award them a badge, I'd like to email them something and say, hey, you earned this. You've earned so many points. Congratulations, you can do it, sort of thing, and encourage them to continue on to the next lesson. And maybe let them know that there are other things that they can earn as they continue to progress the lesson. It is important that when you have a course, you want to encourage your students to complete it. People who complete a course are much less likely to ask for a refund for the course. So in other words, if you get them started, get them into it, and then keep them progressing, and you're giving them badges or emails or points, something that is reaffirming their success, they're much more likely to complete the course, get the benefit out of it, and less likely to say, I don't like this, I'm going to ask for a refund. And it might be that the course does exactly what they need, but they haven't committed the time, and a little nudge from an email or a badge or points helps move them towards that direction from where they started to where they want to be by the end of your course. So as I said, I am an affiliate. If you purchase either Wishlist Member or Wishlist Member add-on from me, I will give you a bonus course on how to use Wishlist Member. All you have to do is send your invoice to support@suburbiapress.com, and I'll have links for all of this down below. And I'll verify that with the folks at Wishlist Member that your purchase was on my affiliate account, and I'll grant you immediate access to the course. And typically I sell it for $97, but it is a free bonus for anybody who supports buying Wishlist Member products from me. And as it says, there's no monthly fees. If you compare this with Thinkific or Teachable, and you go for one of their plans, it's at least $29 a month at the very low end. And plus, they also take a portion of your earnings. To get beyond that, you're probably spending anywhere from $80 to $100 or more. And that's every month. That really adds up. And within a couple of months, you're spending more than what you may spend here for this. So I think this is a really good opportunity. And I think it's definitely worth a look. If you're dissatisfied for any reason, they do have a good refund process. So it is a risk-free purchase. You can buy it, try it out, and then if you're dissatisfied, let Wishlist Member know, and they'll refund your money. So thank you. If you enjoyed this, please go ahead, click the like button. That lets the YouTube overlords know I did something right. Subscribe. You'll get more videos on Wishlist Member and other products for small businesses, and click the little bell notification icon, and you'll be notified the next time I put out a video. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.